8 family members murdered in cold blood, all shot at point blank range. Most of them were shot multiple times while they slept. Why? What was the motive? Why would someone murder 8 family members at 4 separate locations? Let's find out now. Happy Wicked Wednesday, y'all. It's me, Anne Marie, aka the Cajun Crime Queen from Carrincou, Louisiana. Cajun born, Cajun bred, and when I die, I'll be Cajun dead. I hope y'all all having an amazing night. I hope after this video that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't ever forget to press on that notification bell because that means y'all will never miss a video from this Cajun cutie. I hope y'all ready to snuggle up with me, Anne Marie. I hope y'all have a beverage, a cuddle partner, a cuddle fur partner. Those are the best. And y'all ready to hear me tell a crime story. I also hope y'all had an amazing Thanksgiving. Hope y'all had lots of memories with family and friends. I hope y'all saw lots and lots and lots of family members. That, you know how family members come in town and making memories. I love it. That's the best part. I hope y'all had turkey. I actually more of a ham girl, but I did have a turkey, and I had all the trimmings: cornbread dressing, rice dressing, string bean casserole, macaroni, yams, apple pie, pumpkin pie, all of that fun stuff, because this Cajun girl, y'all know we love to eat down here in Cajun country, down here in Louisiana, and it was amazing. The weather was great, even though it's 80 degrees down here in Louisiana. We don't really have a winter, but it just felt amazing. So we're going to dive in today to the Pike County murders. This was a huge tragedy in Ohio, and I didn't even know this crime existed. As y'all know, I'm the Cajun Crime Queen. I know all the crimes. I've been a huge true crime fan since I was the age of 4. I used to love to watch crime stuff, and I can tell y'all every serial killer, their birthday, how many years they got, well, who their victims were. I know everything. I've always done that. But this specific murder, I did not know about. Murders. And I'm going to tell y'all all about it. And we're going to talk about the Rhoden family, which is the family that were killed. And we're going to talk about the Wagner family, which is the family that was involved. Let's dive in. Now, I don't even know where to begin, but all I know is I'm going to sit here and I'm going to tell y'all all the victims, ranging from the ages of 44 to just 16. And their names are Kenneth Rhoden, Christopher Rhoden Sr., Dana Rhoden, Gary Rhoden, Frankie Rhoden, Hannah Gilly, and Chris Rhoden Jr. Now, why in the world would someone murder 8 family members, 4 separate locations? Not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 separate locations. I was just shocked. But we got to start at the beginning. Hannah Rhoden was just 13 years old when she met 17-year-old Jake Wagner at the Pike County Fair. She was showing him her bunny. She was happy. She was sweet. She was innocent. She had a great life. They started dating. And at just 15 years old, Hannah moved in to Jake's house with his mother, Angela, his father, Billy, and his brother, George. They had a great relationship. They even got matching tattoo rings on their ring finger to show how much they loved each other. And at just 17 years old, Hannah gave birth to their daughter, Sophie. They were having a great life, but it wasn't all roses and sunshine. Hannah started realizing how controlling, how bossy, how needy, how physically abusive Jake was. Not only Jake that was controlling, but so was his mother. Angela kind of just ran the show over there. She was the boss. She did everything. Hannah was to the point where she wanted to get out of the relationship, even though Jake has stated that their relationship was great. It was not great. According to several people and social media posts, it was not all roses and sunshines, and we're going to get into that right now. Now, let me tell y'all how close the Rhoden and Wagner's family, how close they were, and just in general. Hannah was dating Jake, and Jake's brother George and Hannah's brother Frankie were friends. Chris, the dad, Chris Sr. Wagner, Chris Rhoden and Billy Wagner were best friends. Everybody was best friends. Everybody knew each other in this small town. They either knew each other or were related. Very small, quaint town. Everybody loved everybody. It was just one of those towns where, small towns make big secrets. It was that kind of town. Well, when the police arrived at this murder scene, they couldn't figure out, God, who would do such a thing? Who would do this? There was blood everywhere. There were drag marks. There were bullet holes outside of the trailer. They couldn't figure out much. But they did find 2 left shoe prints, okay? And these shoe prints that had blood, they can tell. They were looking for them everywhere. The style of the shoe, where do you find them? They searched everywhere. And the police finally found that Walmart, the local Walmart, sold these types of shoes. Even though it was a break in the case, like we know these shoes are sold at Walmart, they just didn't have enough evidence. There was no weapon, there was no DNA, there were no fingerprints. But another thing that they uncovered was that these shoes, it looks like they were brand new. Like they were bought just to participate in this crime. So in the back of their mind, police knew that this crime was planned. It wasn't just, oh, that's it, let's go kill everybody right now. No, they knew that this was a well thought out plan. What they did find on the property was lots of marijuana. So the police in their mind said, was this drug related? Did something happen? What would possess someone to murder 8 family members in 4 different locations? Now, because y'all remember, this is not just like the Brian Kohlberger, which we're going to talk about soon. The murderer, well, he's not convicted. He's just a suspect. Nothing has been said yet, but he is in jail waiting trial. Brian Kohlberger for killing the 4 Idaho students. But it wasn't like, let me just go into this house and murder 1 person. And, oh God, they heard, so I gotta kill them too. Oh no, they heard, I gotta kill them too. I gotta destroy any type of evidence. I can't have any witnesses. Oh no, y'all, this person went house to house to house to house. So this person wanted to murder all these people. That's what made it even scarier. So the police had absolutely no leads. They had nothing to go on. All they had to go on was these shoes, and hoping they would find out who bought these shoes and the day they bought these shoes and when they bought these shoes. It was just a nightmare. But they did have a couple of leads, and everything kept leading back to the Wagner family. Now remember, Billy Wagner and Chris Rhoden were best friends. They did a lot together. Well, one day Billy Wagner was shopping inside the Kroger down there in Ohio, and the cops were waiting for him in the car. And when he stepped out, they stopped him and they said, we want to discuss the murders. And Billy was like, sure, no problem. These were my best friends. I knew the family. That was my granddaughter's mom. Any type of help that y'all need, I'm going to give y'all. And he said, I don't think it was some hillbillies that did this. I think it was drug related. He was giving all kind of stories. He was just rambling. He thought he was running the whole show, y'all. He thought he was in charge of everything. He was just, and the cops just let him ramble. Well, not long after the murders, the Wagners moved to Alaska. And it wasn't because of the murders. People in the town, they had discussed that for years. They always wanted to move to Alaska. So Angela, Billy, George, Jake, little Sophia, and George's son all moved to Alaska. They all lived in the house. They were all having, family time, taking pictures, having a good old time. Well, Angela's father and Billy's father passed away. They didn't return for the funerals, which it was very suspicious. The cops found that suspicious. But anyway, it is what it is. While searching the home, remember, they sold their house before they left for Alaska. The new owners gave cops permission to check that house again and check all around the property, and went through all kinds of trash, all kind of things, and found a receipt. And the receipt showed 2 pair of shoes that the cops were looking for at Walmart. They found a receipt just days before the murder. And they went to Walmart. They had the date on their receipt. They saw it was Angela buying the shoes. They said, we have to discuss this with them. You know, here's something that we need to know what's going on. They knew, they got a tip, I'm guessing, that the Wagner family was coming back to Ohio to get a few things. So they stopped them at the border in Montana to discuss the receipt and the Walmart surveillance cameras with them. Angela, the mama, was like, I didn't buy that. I don't buy shoes. Well, they presented her with the evidence, and she said, okay, I bought those shoes, but I don't know where they went. I think I threw them away. You know, something crazy. She lawyers up. She's like, I'm not talking to y'all at all anymore, and I'm lawyering up. I want my attorney. Angela was very overprotective over her kids and her grandkids, y'all. She was the true definition of a helicopter mom. I thought I was a helicopter mom. Oh, no, I have nothing on her. She went over and above. She even homeschooled the children. It felt like, people said it felt like you needed a background check just to get close to her children. And if she didn't like you, you were out. You were done. She protected those kids and those grandkids like they were her obsession, you know, and her possession. You know, she was so obsessed with protecting them. Well, Hannah and Jake break up. They're not doing well. Hannah can't take his controlling behavior. She breaks up with him. They end up sharing custody of little Sophia, 7 and 7, 1 week, 1 week. That's how they doing things. Well, Angela was not having that. She wanted that baby, and she wanted that baby to be with her 24/7. She was terrified that her little granddaughter was going to get SA'd or kidnapped. So she was trying to do whatever she could to protect her little granddaughter, when they had no evidence of any of that happening to her. But she just wanted to protect her granddaughter. Well, she had hacked into Hannah Mae's Facebook account and saw that Hannah was never going to give up custody of her little girl to the Wagners. She just wasn't having it. She was not going to give away her baby girl to her dad and never see her. She even wrote, they are going to have to kill me first before I sign any paperwork. The cops knew that the Wagners had seen that post because there were screenshots saved to their phones of that post. At this point, the cops thought maybe, just maybe, the motive was a custody battle. But who murders someone over custody? And it wasn't just the other parent. A entire family. Let's wipe out the whole family. It just didn't make sense. But there was no other place for them to turn. It was like the Murdaugh murders. Everything kept leading them back to the Wagners. There was no other lead. There was no other road or direction to take. It was done. Everything led back to the Wagners. A year after living in Alaska, the couple moved back to Ohio due to not being able to afford to stay in Alaska. They felt the heat from police. They were even running their mouths saying, I know police can hear us right now. I know we're being listened to. And I know that they want us to talk and we're not. And the cops knew that they had something to do with this, but they were just trying to figure out how. And just 2.5 years after the murder, y'all, they done arrested everybody. They arrested Angela. They arrested Billy. They arrested Jake. They arrested George. Everybody was arrested. It was, I mean, they were ready to go. They put them all in jail and they just waited. Prosecutors wanted them to talk. They wanted to hear something. And not long after, Jake Wagner pled guilty to plotting the murders making everything happen. He said he did it. He said he murdered the mother of his child, which breaks my heart to no end, to know that he could do this knowing that his little baby girl would never have a mother again. That just breaks my heart. And the way he said it, he smiled at times. It was a whole other level of evil. It was on a whole nother scale, this guy. It's like he had this darkness in him. He wanted everything. He wanted everything, and he wanted his daughter. He wanted the family to be gone. Well, he was going to have to testify against everybody to get a lighter sentence. And if he testified truthfully, he was going to spare their lives as well. So he was ready to testify. He was ready to testify against all the family members, and he knew that's what he had to do. And on one of the days, he walked into the courtroom to testify against his mother, his brother, and his father. 5 months after Jake's confession, Angela confessed to everything to get a lighter sentence. Now, y'all, this is not, let me just tell everything so I can give justice to the family, the Rhoden family. I want to put everything to rest. No, Angela was looking out for herself. She wanted a lighter sentence to get out. It wasn't to give justice to the Rhoden family. Just like Shanda Sharon, another case we're going to cover one day, when she was murdered. She was 12 years old, and some older kids murdered her, some older girls. And the mother said, all I needed y'all to do was serve out y'all full sentence. Serve the time for Shanda. Well, anyway, we'll get to that story one day. Angela didn't want to tell her story so she can give the family justice. She wanted a lighter sentence. She was protecting herself as always. Very, very selfish. Anyway, as you all know, when I work on a case, I dive, tread water, jump off the diving board. I give y'all all the knowledge I know so y'all don't have to go digging. I do it for y'all, and I like to do it for y'all. I found out that Angela was severely beaten as a child, had a very traumatizing childhood. Her father would constantly beat her, and then beat her mother when her mother would try to stop the abuse. He even one time choked her so much that she turned purple. He controlled what she wore. Her father was extremely, extremely controlling. At 18 years old, she just wanted to get out the house. She wanted to get out of there. She joined the military, and she said she was SA'd. Y'all know what I'm talking about. She didn't report it. She was very traumatized. It was just heartbreaking for her, to the point where she felt she had no control. And reading a lot of different books about people that have been SA'd and about people that have been abused physically, mentally, they feel like they have absolutely no control over situations, especially themselves. So I started thinking, was Angela this possessive, this controlling, this obsessed to the point where she didn't want anyone around her kids and grandkids because she felt like she had no control in the past? Is this why she's so controlling now? She feels like she needs all this control. She was so worried that her granddaughter was going to get SA'd or kidnapped or something, that she was constantly trying to protect her, and she was so petrified and worried about that. Now, George, Jake's brother, Angela's son, he was kind of, dragged into it. But a lady named Tabitha, who's George's ex-wife, testified and said what a nightmare the Wagner family was. It was a horrible nightmare. Y'all, Angela was so controlling. They were married, right? After Tabitha and George were married, they moved in to the Wagner home because, Angela had to have everybody at her house. She had to control everything. She took this Tabitha, George's ex-wife, she took her social security cards, all her important documents, said that she couldn't have any contact with her family. She had no phone. And at night, she would make George's wife, Tabitha, leave the room so she could scratch her son's back and he can tell her about the day. And that happened nightly, y'all, nightly. That's just crazy. Y'all, they're a married couple. What the heck is going on, okay? Well, Tabitha finally had enough. She was like, her rules, you could only have sex to make children. It was just, it was so many rules. Well, one night they got in a disagreement. George slapped Tabitha. She went outside. Angela threw a board at her and then said she was going to get a gun. So Tabitha got out of there right away. And she signed a custody agreement. She thought it was a temporary custody agreement. She didn't realize she was signing over full custody of their sweet little boy to George, the father, her soon-to-be ex-husband. So Angela had all control. She didn't see her baby boy for a year because Angela had all this custody stuff going on, all of this control. This mother controlled every single thing these boys did, including her husband, who also pled not guilty, but he was going down too. To me, she was a mastermind. Now, Tabitha had a very traumatizing childhood. She was SA'd. She was hurt as a child. So Angela was very, very scared that would happen to her grandson that Tabitha and George had together. So she had custody of of him, the little boy, her grandson. Now, while living in Alaska, Jake met a beautiful girl named Beth. She was sweet, she was loving, she was intelligent. She was also SA'd as a child. So this was another traumatic event for Angela. Angela was like, oh my God, I was hurt as a child, according to Angela. Angela, now her two daughter-in-laws were hurt and SA'd as children. So she was so afraid that Jake's daughter was going to get SA'd or kidnapped or beaten. So she was very, very upset when Jake married Beth. And even on her wedding night, whenever Beth told Jake about the SA situation, they made her cut off all ties with her family. They said, nope, you can't see your family. So she was controlled by Angela and Jake all over again. It was very, very scary. And another thing that happened was all of a sudden, out of the blue, Angela says that Jake's daughter was being SA'd by Beth, her stepmother. And Beth was like, what are you talking about? I've never done anything like that to this child. Well, Jake comes in, sits her down sternly, and was like, I need to know if this is true. I need to know. She's like, no, what are you talking about? None of that's true. He said, because if it is true, you deserve to be strung up in a barn and beaten to death with a baseball bat by me or my family, and then I will hunt your family down and do the same thing. She knew she had to get away from this family, y'all. She knew, I'm out, I'm done, I'm gone. And she did. She left him, thank goodness. She wanted to get away from this family because in her mind, she's saying, I didn't touch this child. I'm not going to be blamed for something that I didn't do. But Angela, because she said she was SA'd and hurt as a child, that she was trying to protect her granddaughter and her grandson. She wanted everybody next to her. It was devastating that Angela was so traumatized that she was bringing everybody down with her. Everybody had to be controlled. Everybody had to be under her watch 24/7. Now, Jake admitted to all the murders and said that the reason why he had to kill everybody was because he knew if he just shot Hannah Mae, the mother of his child, that the men would come after him. It would start a whole war. So he knew he had to kill everybody in the family. And he said, this is horrible, horrible. You know what he says? He says, if somebody's there, just happens to be there that night, they're going to get murdered as well. Who says that? And the little 3-year-old that was at Hannah Gilley's house, the Bobby who found the bodies, the lady Bobby, knocked on the door. The 3-year-old answered the door and she goes, where are your parents? Because she was terrified because she had just found the other trailer, somebody was murdered. She's looking for them. And the little 3-year-old said, my daddy's in the back playing zombie or something. And in between Hannah Gilley and her fiance, Frankie Rhoden, Their 6-month-old child was in between them, and they were both shot dead. The baby was covered in blood. And the reason why he said he killed Hannah Gilley was because she moved. Y'all, the whole thing was crazy. This family was sick and twisted, and I think the mastermind behind all of this was Angela. Now, Jake is going to describe the crime scenes and how he did it. He says that he went from trailer to trailer. Frankie Rhoden, then Hannah Gilley, makes a move. He kills her as well, all while their 6-month-old is in between them. He then goes to Dana's home, shoots her 5 times in the head, then walks in the room where Hannah, the mother of his child, is nursing her 5-day-old baby. He shoots her, and then, y'all, he rolls her over so the newborn could have access to her breast so the baby would not starve to death. Then he walks down the hall, shoots 16-year-old Chris Jr. multiple times in the head, then goes down the road and shoots Kenneth Rhoden. This is a whole nother level of evil. The reason for these killings, y'all, is because Angela Wagner wanted those grandbabies. She wanted full control over everything and everyone. Remember, Hannah Mae had just given birth 5 days before that to a second father of her child, and they had already broke up and she was seeing another guy. So she just thought that maybe all these people and all this family, somebody was going to be essaying her granddaughter. This is not a reason to murder an entire family. There was no evidence of this. None of this ever happened. Nothing happened. Now, this poor little girl has absolutely no parents. These 3 children that they left behind, which is the only good thing the Wagner family did, they didn't touch children. Well, they did kill the 16-year-old Chris Jr., but the 3-year-old, the 6-month-old, and the 5-day-old were spared. And that is the only good thing that came out of that they did not touch those children. But these kids have no parents, y'all. That 3-year-old and that 6-month-old, their parents are dead. The little 5-day-old, Hannah Mae's 2 girls have no mother. And then the little girl, Jake Wagner's daughter, her whole other family's in jail. And the other, one family is dead, the Rhoden family, and the Wagner, they're in jail. This is so traumatic and so traumatizing. This is the worst thing that I think I've ever covered. This is heartbreaking on so many levels. My final thought, y'all know I always come to y'all with my final thought. I think that this family was crazy. I think the Wagner family wanted custody of the Rhoden little girl, and they stopped at nothing to get that when absolutely nothing was happening. I think that Angela had a lot of issues. And I think that Angela needed to get help, and she didn't get the help she needed. And the help she needed was she had a very traumatizing childhood, and I think she never sought help for it. I think she just dealt with it with, let me control everybody, let me make sure everybody around me is perfect so nothing happens to the people that I love and to the people that I care about. But as y'all know, I'm a helicopter mom. I watch everything my children do. I have their location. I see what they're doing. I want to know who they're with, everything. But you cannot put them in this bubble forever, y'all. I wish we could. Sometimes I wish I could say I could protect them forever, and I want to. But I know I can't be there 24/7. And I think Angela took it over the edge because she never got the help she needed with being SA'd and beaten and mentally just abused. You know what I'm saying? Just in all the aspects of being abused. And I think that she manipulated her sons and her husband to make them all think, hey, somebody's hurting our grandchildren. Somebody's hurting our granddaughter, our grandson. We have to get out of here. We have to make sure nobody hurts them. That's not how you protect people. And I think that's the only way she knew how, or she thought she knew how. And I'm glad that everybody admitted to everything. I will keep you updated on this case because it's still not finished because, you know, George and Billy Wagner are still going through their trials and everything. And, you know, Angela got 30 years. Jake got life. he was spared his life because he said, you know, he admitted to everything. And I just think they're cold-blooded killers. And I think that they just moved on with their life like it was nothing. Y'all, they murdered a whole family, and it shouldn't have happened that way. And I hope that they are in heaven and they get the justice that they deserve. And I want to thank y'all very much for tuning in to me, Anne Marie, on this wonderful Wicked Wednesday. I hope that y'all like, subscribe, and comment. And don't forget to press that notification bell so y'all never miss a story from yours truly, Anne Marie. I love y'all all very much, and I hope y'all have a great night. And I hope y'all tune in next Wednesday. Y'all, next Wednesday's crazy. Next Wednesday's crazy. Yeah, I'm already working on it, and it's a crazy. He is crazy. Make sure y'all tune in. Y'all have a great night. I love y'all to the moon and back. And thank y'all again for all y'all love and support. Bye.